everyone, welcome back to 31 Days to a Better Photo here at my3voidvariants.com. Today I want to talk a little bit about curves. Last time we talked about the levels adjustment, and this time I'd like to go over curves. So we're going to come in here to our adjustments, and this time we're going to find the curves icon. It looks like an S over a graph, and what you'll notice again is it brings up like our similar to our histogram, and you can see here that this is going to be the area for the shadows, the blacks, and this area over here for the lights, the highlights, or the whites, and this stuff here in the middle is the midtones. And what you can see from looking at this image's histogram is that all of the pixels are sort of gathered here in the center. There's very little information here in the highlights, and almost no pixels here in the shadows. So what that creates is a photo like this one here, where you can see it's the same photo that I used in the levels edit, so you can see how editing curves and levels is different. But in this photo you can see that there are virtually no dark areas. So there are several ways that you can manipulate a curves adjustment. One of the easiest ways, of course, is to come in here down low here and drag this over to where your pixels start, at this sort of the start of the mountain, and immediately you can see already that it's a richer, darker photo, that the black from his t-shirt has been brought in, the darker area in his pupils and hair and in his eyes here can be seen. Let's toggle this on and off so you could see. This is without it, this is with. One of the main differences here between the curves and the layers is that you don't just have sliders to adjust. You can come in here and click this hand icon, and if you then go click on, say, the skin here, it will place an anchor point here so you can adjust that. So if you wanted to, for example, change the pixels that fall right on the skin tones here, you can see that moving this up will change those skin tones. You wanted to make them darker, you could drag it down below the line or higher to bring it up. But unlike levels where you have simply 3, you can adjust at various levels. I can come in here and I can see that the background here falls right about here in the midtones, and I can pull those down and pull this up. It's not necessary to simply slide. I can come in here to the grays and see that this shirt here falls right around here and pull this adjustment layer down. You can put several anchor points on here, which will allow you to manipulate the photo a lot more specifically than just the 3 sliders. I'm going to, since we've sort of played with this curve and kind of abused it a little bit, I'm going to delete this curves layer by dragging it down into the trash and creating a new curves layer by going to adjustments here and curves. And here I'm going to use the dropper. This black will do the shadows, gray will do the midtones, the white dropper will do the highlights. I'm going to come here to the black because I know that this part of my son's shirt is meant to be black. So if I click it, it will simply adjust the curves for me. And what it did is a lot like what I had done before, and that simply bring this line here to match the beginning of my shadows. If I know something is supposed to be a true white, I can click on it and Photoshop will say, okay, that's the whites there. And obviously you can play with it until it feels right to you. For today's For the purpose of today's lesson, I simply want to show you how I would edit curves for this specific photo. Because it's missing information here in the darks and because his black t-shirt is washed out, I prefer to drag this over, and then I would probably do a light bump in the mids. I wouldn't change the highlights even though there's some missing information here, because while if you clip the shadows it's not quite as noticeable, if you blow out the highlights it's almost never retrievable information. So I would probably do some cropping and some other editing beyond just that, but for the purpose of curves, this is how I would edit this photo using curves. If you have any questions about curves or levels, I welcome you to leave comments below and I will try to answer as many of them as I can. Alright, thanks for stopping by.